My name is Max Mail, and I work for Parkview Health System in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And we are looking at some of the opportunities for digital wayfinding with a smartphone app for Android and iPhone users. And we've come up with an app that uses Apple iBeacon technology, which is a newer technology released in the last year or two, that integrates with a smartphone and a user's app to show them where they are throughout the hospital. It does not need any sort of a Wi-Fi signal or cell phone connection, so that as the user roams through the hospital and loses signal, they still have a map showing them where they are. One of the reasons we came up with this is because patients come in through the front door and see a very nice map along with wayfinding there at the front, but then are left to try to find their way through the middle of the hospital or their way back from their family member or procedure or outpatient visit to where they parked or what entrance they came into without a map. And so we do think that there's some inherent value in having maps on your hand or on your phone, and we're hoping to provide that to increase our patient experience, to reduce visitor and family anxiety, and to hopefully eliminate those patients that are lost wandering through the halls. One thing at Parkview that all employees are taught are to stop and help a visitor or a patient find their way when we see that they're lost. And you can often just look down the hall and see someone staring at a wayfinding sign trying to figure out which way they're trying to go. And so we often just stop and ask how we can help. And it seems like every day there's no shortage of patients that are trying to find their way. So if they had the wayfinding in conjunction with a map on their phone, we think that would be very beneficial. One of the discussions we've had at Parkview here is, do you go with a GPS style of an app, or do you go with a map on their phone? And these were two options that were highly considered. One, with GPS right now, is a very expensive model. So initially we decided to test the market and see how many people will download an app to begin with, and if it's useful, then to translate that into a GPS type of app where you can program in what floor you're heading to or what room you're heading to, and that'll navigate you right there. So to start with, we're looking at a lower cost option that's a subscription based. You pay per year to have the software. There's no contract, there's no software fees, there's no additional hardware component fees. Everything's included in the one subscription price. And then each year we can analyze whether or not that's valuable for our health system, or if we want to go to a GPS style of a system. The one that we're looking at can incorporate GPS if we decide to do that. One of the things that we're hoping to reduce is the anxiety for family members and for patients. And about 70% of the users, 70% of cell phone users now carry smartphones in their pocket. So the market seems like it is there, and the timing felt right for us to start exploring these paths with apps to patients. And we really don't have any sort of an app that reaches out to the patients, so this would be the first. One thing that this would allow us to do is incorporate proximity-based advertising for the user. So as they get near a cafeteria, perhaps a menu would pop up, or as they get near a gift shop, perhaps a coupon would pop up. Maybe when they're leaving the doors, it may give a salutations, thank you for visiting Parkview Health Systems, something like that, that we can all incorporate these personal touches in to each visitor that comes. On the app itself, there would be a map located there that would show you constantly, you are here. It would be a hospital branded app. And then you have feature buttons at the bottom that show if you want the nearest restroom, if you want the nearest stairs. We are looking at incorporating defibrillators locations for health systems that want that. So a variety of options could go into what's being displayed based on where you are in the hospital. The app works in conjunction with iBeacons. These were a technology released by Apple. These are not specifically made by Apple, but they work for iOS 7 and above. They are a small Bluetooth device similar to a Bluetooth earpiece that chirps out a little signal that your phone then recognizes when you are nearby, within about 200 feet. and it can dial down to be within just a matter of a foot or two, depending on how accurate you want to be. So these do not rely on any sort of a Wi-Fi connection or power connection through the hospital. So as the user moves about, all they need is proximity to these beacons, and their map shows up on their phone. This way, the user doesn't have to be tied into your Wi-Fi network and utilizing that bandwidth on your network, and doesn't compromise any sort of security settings or things like that. The beacons have a lifespan of about 2 to 3 years for the batteries, but the company would come through and check all of those and each year update the batteries on them. The other option that it has is that you could potentially find the nearest trafficked areas for your hospital. So the phone or app does not track the user, but you could see which beacons, how many times it was pinged. So how many times people are walking by a certain area, and which could be helpful depending on if you want to locate a coffee cart or a new vendor or something like that within the hospital, or if you're looking at where a concierge or someone may go to assist with patients and families.